Hello. Well, I'm gonna make a couple of videos on quality after quite a few months. So the two things triggered it. First of all, I made an update to the casinos, which I just finished right now. But before I'm gonna talk about the casinos on the next video. But for this video, I kind of want to focus on overall the quality guide because there's still people probably newer to the game who are watching it and think it's great and it's not bad, but there are definitely quite a few things I would change. I'd say, first of all, I focus way too much on ingredient efficiency. And I think just the speed of getting, all the legendary stuff when you just have normal quality. I'd say that I would focus a lot more on that. So in practice, this means that half the blueprints here are still kind of okay, but there's a lot I would change. The First of all, the thing I would change is, and probably the biggest change, I'm thinking of starting with kind of this blueprint because it's the only thing that you need on Fulgora. And when I tried this blueprint with, based on the guide, this was way too slow, way too slow. Now, the good thing about this blueprint is it doesn't need anything. It doesn't need any productivity bonuses in anything. It just, if you upcycle electromagnetic plants, then you can get electromagnetic plants themselves, recyclers, although not very efficiently, and quality 3 modules because you're getting all of the ingredients that they need plus the superconductors, I think. Supercapacitors? Superconductors. Yeah, conductors. And it gives you whole new. So this one blueprint can get you started on getting all of these at legendary quality, right? So because of that, I think it's a good idea to start with this. It's the only blueprint you need on Fulgora anyways. And yeah, you can go to Fulgora, set this blueprint up, get it to the point where you have, quite a few recyclers, quite a few quality modules, quite a few EM plants, and then leave Fulgora. Now, there will be massive changes to the blueprint. First of all, I mean, this right side, I don't know if it will need to change, but one electromagnetic plant doing this is nowhere near enough. You'd probably need at least 10, maybe more. So that would be one of the changes, and the second change would be instead of doing all of this crap over here, I would change it so that you only need to bring in scrap and heavy oil. So just bring in these two, it will craft everything for you, and you just need to bring enough scrap. So you just set up the miners and send them on their way. So it will be really easy to set up. You'd still need to figure out, you'd still need to upgrade the quality modules over time, upgrade the recycler, blah, 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 upgrade the EM plant. So you'd still need to kind of stay until it's all upgraded. But once you're done, then you're done with Fulgora. And you have you're well on your way to doing the other stuff. At the same time, you can start getting some productivity modules, which there's quite a few changes here, for example, and this is not a finished blueprint. I started working this at some point and then, got distracted. But for example, I included everything here. Now you only need to bring in the chips, the processing chips of all three. So it does the tier 1 and tier 2 on its own. Which is, I think, a bit easier to think about because you're probably not going to have cheap the tier 1 and 2s on a belt or something. You're just going to have, So besides that, there's also some kind of global, this is on a global network, so it will store, this is partially what the buffer chests are for. It will know how much you have on the logistic network, and we will craft however many productivity modules you want, because this one copy is not going to be enough. You're going to need a bunch of copies. That's the other thing. I want to make the blueprints that they're big enough. Maybe I'll have two versions, one which is a single module at a time, and one where you have enough so that you paste one and it should be like pretty fast for most people. Like, okay, this is gonna work great and be fast enough, and yeah. So you would start with this, maybe also some speed modules. You don't need that many speed modules, and then go on to the asteroid processing SIP. And here, I would change quite a bit about the SIP itself, but the fundamental principles, I don't think they will change. It's just like upcycling, and there may be some changes to the logic of what it keeps, when it travels, when it doesn't. You know, it may change some things around that, but for the most part, as far as the upcycling goes, which is this part in the middle, like that won't really change much. The SIP itself will probably change, yeah. Like, I know a bit more about SIP construction by now, and yeah, I would change a few things. LDS, yeah, again, I would make it a lot bigger. I'd make like 10 copies probably of it and do them in a, I don't know, set them up in a way that makes more sense. Will also look quite a bit neater than this mess. Processing units. Another thing to talk about is putting buffer chest. I know in one of my quality videos I said that you shouldn't do buffer chest, but I was completely wrong. You should do buffer chest because you definitely want to set a maximum on each of them. I may even have it already on my base. Where are they? Here. Nope, I'm still on requested chests. Yeah, so you should have. Oh, these are requested chests. Yeah, these are still okay. Anyway, yeah, for normal quality it doesn't matter, but for higher quality that should be the case. And I don't know about legendary. I'm not sure. I'll think about it. I don't remember now. But you should definitely have a minimum and a maximum. And you probably want buffer chests because then you can, if you want, you can take from these chests and bring them somewhere else if you want to request them. Because if they're requested chests, then they just get stuck here, but maybe you want to use them somewhere else, you know. So yeah, if you don't have a maximum, even with requested chests or buffer, it doesn't matter. If you don't have a maximum, then it can get stuck where you have where these two get full and they can't take any more, and this whole belt is full of red circuits, and then you don't have enough green circuits and the whole system gets stuck. This has happened. It may have even happened here. I'm not sure. Probably not. It's just stuck on legendary stuff because I have too much legendary. Yeah, looks like it. So this is a good kind of getting stuck. But yeah, definitely either limiting the maximum or limiting the maximum and buffer chest instead of steel. So that's another change that needs to happen in general. Next thing is doing biter eggs. So I found that productivity, the best way to get productivity modules is maybe like this, with actually getting productivity modules, because it's way more efficient. But getting biter eggs for the other stuff that you want, which is biolabs and captive biter spawners. So this thing, spider eggs, and you're gonna need a lot of them at legendary. And then there's biolabs, which you'll also need a bunch of them. Especially biolabs, like that's the one you're gonna need a lot of first. I found that it's better to just do direct upcycling. The difference is, so with this thing, the material cost is kind of similar if you really think about it, like the number of quality modules you need versus how many you need here is roughly the same for the throughput of legendary biter eggs that you get. It's roughly the same cost in terms of that, but the difference is here all you need is a tiny bit of bioflux. Like all of this needs like 3.2 per second, I guess. Bioflux, that's it. Whereas this thing, I guess I don't have them anymore. Oh no, they're here. This needs like 2.5 per second processing units and blah blah blah, and a bunch of other things, and 2 per second productivity. Like it needs a bunch of extra ingredients. Um, the new blueprint may be even more expensive. I don't know at what stage it is. Let me see. Sure. Yeah, like 7% or 10%. So instead of this, I don't know how much biter eggs you would get, this would get you. Probably quite a bit less. Um, it doesn't matter. Let me delete. Yeah, this I do recommend this at this point. It's a bit scary if someone watching is fairly new to the game. It's a bit scary, but you don't need even need that much defense. Like a few laser turrets will handle it quite easily. And if you do that, yeah, I'll be fine. One thing to note, in case you guys don't know about it, is that biter eggs can stay in here forever. So as long as you keep the bioflux running, they'll be fine. These guys will not. These guys won't spawn anyways, unless the captive biter spawner, expires because you aren't feeding it. As for the biter, yeah, you just need to stop the inserters from taking the eggs out. Otherwise, they stay completely fresh in here, and you can get up to 1 stack in there. So that's the other thing. Besides that, there's not much to say about the tungsten plates. The other thing I did was reorganize a bit because you want to start getting legendary biolabs as soon as possible. So after you get your novice stuff and EM plants and recyclers and quality modules and prod modules, you have all the novice resources. You probably want to get these 3 so that you can start getting biolabs, because these are the other 3 you want. Start getting biolabs and then focus on the other stuff from the other planets. So tungsten plate doesn't change. I think even this blueprint was more than sufficient, if I remember correctly. You don't need that much tungsten plate. So even just 1 copy of this may be fine. I might make a few changes to it, but yeah, largely it will stay the same. Now, the other big change that I would make is I got rid of the quantum process blueprint. So the problem with this blueprint is, first of all, it's quite expensive, because at this stage of the game, you need a lot of recyclers, you need a lot of EM plants, you need a lot of quality modules and productivity modules, so that's expensive. Secondly, it's annoying to set up on a kilo. Not only do you need the heat to set it up, and you need to wait for the heat and blah blah blah. And potentially, I don't even remember, am I using legendary? Yeah, I'm using legendary heating towers, which is also another thing to get. But it's annoying because you have to bring in all the ingredients, you need to belt them, find a way to belt them to the inputs here. It's just annoying. It's just annoying, and worst of all is like, okay, you get all of this, you would think this is fast enough, but it's really, really, really slow. So the actual quantum processors you will just get directly, so you will only have like this thing and just feed it with materials. And then for the rest of it, lithium plate you will also get basically directly from legendary holmium and a bit of processing. Again, it's going to be super easy. So what's left is these 2. And for carbon fiber, I am now getting with tool belt, it's basically carbon fiber. Tool belt is basically carbon fiber and a bit of red circuits, but it's basically carbon fiber. It's 10 and 3. So it's just simple recycling, and you get the ingredient, which is the legendary carbon fiber. And then I don't have a blueprint yet, and I'm not gonna have for quite a while. But what I did is foundry upcycling. So I just used my casinos, the ones I had at the time, and upcycled foundries, and I kept foundries here, and I also kept some tungsten carbide. So I spent quite a bit of time in my actual playthrough trying to wait for this blueprint, but it was too slow. I waited, and it was too slow, and eventually I'm like, okay, well, on Valkanus, let's get one of these, and then things were looking up, and I'm like, okay, this is still slow. But already it was way, way better. So 3 of these are way far. I don't remember exactly because it's been a long time. I have this. Oh my god. Anyway, this is already a lot faster than what I had on a kilo. for tungsten carbide, which is the main thing that you want. That's really the throughput limiter, kind of. So, yeah. So I'm gonna have a blueprint for this that is probably bigger, probably like 10 foundries. So that will get you the foundries themselves quickly, plus the carbide for speed modules, because you do need a lot of speed modules. And then we get on to Gleba. You're still gonna keep this for legendary biochambers. That this is still, I think, really good. You just upcycle spoilage, and then you have some logic here to upcycle a single pentapod egg, and then you keep crafting the pentapod egg over and over. Keep it in storage, and then you get some biochambers. And to be honest, if I remember correctly, if you feed this, if you have the ingredients to get this working non-stop, you get over 100 biochambers within like 5 minutes. And I actually calculated here, I have like 700 legendary biochambers. You're not gonna need much more than that. Like, I'm thinking of doubling this, and that's still like, let's say worst case, I need 1400, which is a lot. I can tell you now, most of you will never get to that point, unless you're watching this 20 years from now and you have a much faster computer. Because of that, honestly, if you just fill this chest with legendary biochambers, you're probably done. Like, it's 2400 legendary biochambers. So you just need to fill this chest, and then you can basically delete all of this. Well, not all of this, but you can delete this part. You may still need the legendary spoilers just to get this guy, legendary quality, fishing module 3. That's about it. So the tool belts are, bring them over here to get the legendary fiber. And finally, for stack inserters, this stack inserters is the one I'm not sure about still. There's two ways to do it. One way is, just upcycle the jelly nut, and or rather jelly, but you start with jelly nut. And each of these need 32 per second, which is 192 trees. Which, in case you don't know, because I have to assume for my quality videos I'm talking to an audience that doesn't megabase. One agricultural tower can do up to 47 trees. So it's basically 4 agricultural towers that can do the full trees. And thankfully for jelly, for the purple stuff, it's kind of easy to find. Fields, plots of land where you can fully fill them up. It's much more difficult for Yumako, but for jelly, it's kind of easy. So 4 of these is enough to get one of these fully running, pretty much. A bit more than that, but yeah. And this can get you, what is it? I think 1 per minute. Sorry, where is it? Here we go. 1.7 per minute legendary stack inserter. So I think like 10 copies of these should be fine. Like if you're getting 17 per minute, that's not that bad, right? 70 per minute is, like 17 times 60, that's 1000 per hour. Okay, that's quite a lot. Like you let it run for 30 hours, you probably have more than enough stack inserters for the rest of your game. So, and all you need is like, just 40 agricultural towers, set them up, bring in the jelly nut and process it. Now you're also gonna need 40 of these guys. Sorry, 10 of these guys, because these get you 4 per minute, and these guys need 3 per minute. So, I mean, not 10, but like you're gonna need the carbon fiber for other stuff as well. But yeah, like 8 of them or something. Feeding these would be a lot harder actually, getting the carbon fiber and all that. But anyway, that's the idea. Now the other way to do it is the way I used to have it. So now I do have this blueprint here. But the old way was this thing, and I kind of added this part here, which is somewhat optional, which is basically to make the inserters on Gleba, which is I found that it's kind of a pain. Like it really annoyed me that I had to do it, which is why I'm leaning towards the other blueprint being given to people. Because you're gonna do this anyways, right? You're gonna do this anyways. So if you are gonna make this carbon fiber thing anyways, why not go for this? The one benefit to doing it this way is it's much easier to keep epic stack inserters, for which there may be some use for them. I am not convinced yet, but yeah. Okay. The last thing that I would change is, if you remember in part 5 of my guide, I talked about how getting the ingredients at epic level and then crafting the biolab in an assembler with quality modules, and then if it becomes legendary, cool. If not, then you recycle it. If it's epic, then you recycle it, until it becomes legendary. That was actually better. And I think it may be worth doing this specifically for biolabs and for captive biospawners. Now, this would mean that for these 3 ingredients, I would keep them whether they're epic or legendary. I wouldn't care. I would keep both qualities. And obviously, if they're legendary quality, then you craft them directly. If they're epic, then you do the upcycling, but only from epic and higher. Now, for captive spawner, it's pretty easy because all of these 3 are very specific things. Like here is the captive spawner, so it's literally just So here I'm not just gonna keep this. I'm gonna do this instead, right? I'm gonna keep these and keep them, and everything else gets recycled. So yeah. For uranium, it's the same. It's pretty much the same thing, except it's an ingredient rather than something else. So I'm gonna keep all the epic. Yeah, maybe like change it to something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I just change everything to epic plus instead of legendary only, and respectively here. And because of that, so yeah, really easy here as well. And finally, we got the biter eggs, which again, it's really simple, especially if you use this. You just change it to this, right? So it's really easy. You just keep the epic and the legendary ones, blah blah blah. There's not much to change, and because of that, yeah, you suddenly can get quite a bit more instead of this being, I think it's like 50% more efficient. So another way to think about it is that you need only 2/3 throughput in over here, two-thirds of what you would need otherwise. 2/3 here, 2/3 for this thing, and 2/3 for this thing. Especially this one, look how big it is. Like, you only need 2/3 of whatever you're gonna need. And the only difference is a bit of logic here and a small blueprint. Now, for biolabs, it would be a bit more complex because you also have refined concrete and lab, but I would need to find these at epic quality as well. It's probably not that difficult, especially refined concrete. Yeah, if I remember correctly, which I don't. Anyway, yeah, I would need to. I think it just needs to. I would just need to keep some epic quality as well from the spaceship, from the. Hopefully, that's all it needs. I'm not sure. From this guy, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But just keep some. If I have enough, drop it, transform it. Have the epic quality of what is it, labs and refined concrete, and yeah, that gives you like a nice boost to this kind of issue. Because that's it's these 3 things that are hardest to get, that they need a lot of infrastructure. Biolabs, captive biospawners when you do promethium, and stack inserters. Those are the hardest ones. Let me see if I forgot anything. I think these are the changes that I would do. Still just quality life improvements, such as doing scrap instead of the specific stuff for the Fulgora blueprint. More emphasis on speed rather than ingredient efficiency, no more quantums. Yeah, I think that's it. So these are the changes I will do someday to the blueprints. Now, the reason I mentioned all of this is if you've watched my guide and afterwards you happen to watch this video as well, I would recommend that you actually try to do something like what I said already. Try to do it yourself, especially for the quantum processors, because it's really easy to set up carbon. Even if you set up carbon fiber somehow with a casino or with a simple blueprint. Same with tungsten carbide, the tungsten carbide can actually be done with a casino with minor modifications. Maybe that's another modification I could make to the casino somehow so that it keeps a certain ingredient. Because right now it just upcycles the item itself. Like, for example, now it would just upcycle the foundries. It wouldn't try to, upcycle until you have enough tungsten carbide. So, yeah. I'm not sure what's the... Yeah, I'm not sure whether I should do it or make a blueprint itself, but even if you have to figure it out on your own before I have a blueprint for these things, which, if you're watching this in the near future, I won't have one ready. I will probably not have one ready for quite a few months, maybe even half a year, because the mega pacing takes a long time to finish. I would still recommend it. Whatever you do is probably going to be better than what I've done with quantum processors. Or at least put the quantum processor, set it up, but then be ready. It's going to be slow. Set it up and then still do something like this. Same thing with biter eggs. You probably want to set up something yourself, even if you need to. For the EM plants, yeah, again, I would recommend that you can also do like multiple copies of this one. It's a bit inefficient because you are also copying this stuff, which you don't need to. Like for this, you only need to bring in these four. You don't need to bring the liquids. So it's not great, but you can use multiple copies of this one. Yeah, okay. And then if you follow this order, you may not even need the quality modules direct, because you're just gonna get quality 3 directly over here. Just start with some modules, whatever it is, and put them here, and then gradually you're gonna get legendary ones directly. Okay, that's it. In the next video, I'm gonna go through the new casinos. I changed them around. They have a lot of extra functionality. It's a lot of bugs I fixed. There may still be bugs, but I don't think so. So stay tuned for that.